Welcome back to Third and Long. Mike Lonsberry along with Dave Dickinson, who wasn't supposed to be here. And it's always great having you here. But Bo Levi Mitchell was supposed to be here, but he flew down to L.A. to check in with the doc. Yep. And you have an update, Dr. Dave.
Well, I'm certainly not the doctor, but I got a phone, and people update everybody with phones these days. Basically, yeah, we've been kind of, Bo has a relationship with a pretty big-time doctor down there in L.A. He's the Dodgers doctor. He does a lot of famous people. Never did any work on myself. But anyway, we had an issue with the shoulder with Bo a few years ago, and Bo got this thing going with him. And Bo feels comfortable, the knowledge and a guy that's seen, thousands and thousands of throwing shoulders. And that's his moneymaker. So he went down there just to get a little cortisone shot. And basically for the doctor to give him a little bit of more of a overall, evaluation. And from what I heard, it was a good visit, and things look pretty good. And we're hoping he's out there throwing soon.
All right, prediction: is he going to miss 6, or is he going to be back early?
Oh, predictions are not in my business. We week to week. I know Bo's chomping at the bit. We miss him, okay? So that's just the bottom line. We miss him. He's been around, but it's just different not even having him out there practicing. He hardly ever misses games.
Right.
He's one of the more durable guys. He does a great job taking care of himself. So, as soon as he's healthy, though, he's back in. I don't care how many games, 5, 6, 7. He's our starter. We'll win more games with Bo playing. We want him in there.
So you've got to be pretty happy with the way you guys are at this point without him.
We've kept our head above water. We think we can be better, Certainly, the standard is still the same. We try to be excellent every play, every game. And I think Bo also, with our new system and new people in there, needed to get himself take his game to the next level even. So we never quit coaching, but I like where we're at. I mean, we're not obviously at first. Winnipeg's playing extremely good football.
Right.
But we can see them. They're in sight, and we got to just keep winning and getting better.
I wanted to ask you about one of your assistant coaches, Josh, your defensive back coach. We went in to do some strategy work with him this past week. All your coaches are great to deal with, but he seemed to be an exceptional young man. He's got quite a personality and way of expressing himself.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. He's actually probably could have kept playing a year or two longer.
Right.
I wanted to make the move with my DB coach. I felt like I needed a young guy in there, that had a little bit more positive energy, and I felt like Josh was that guy. So when we offered him the job, he could have probably made the team and kept playing, but I knew he would make a good coach. He does, though, live on the edge. He's very emotional. He wants to push his guys. He's very invested. He's totally right with those guys. I mean, obviously you hear of a player's coach. He basically wants to still be a player, so he's right there with them. And that group has played really well this year, and the communication is there, and I got to give him credit. He's definitely putting them out there, and it seems to be the production is there.
You seem to bring on a lot of players, the Stampeder organization, and they make the transition from player to coach pretty fast.
Well, I'm always looking, even before Corey Mace retired, I was talking to him about, hey, if I can get the head job, would you work for me? And he was like, man, I'm still playing. I mean, don't put me out the pasture yet. But I try to find the right personalities. I mean, I brought in J.C. Sherritt this year. I respect that man. He's doing a great job. Yes, he's an Edmonton Eskimo, but I knew what type of person he was. What I try to do, I don't care who you are, where you're from, what color skin you got. I really don't. I want good people. They're going to work hard. They're going to mesh as a group. And find the right mix to try to win football games. And I it's a young man's game. It is. I mean, I think I'm second oldest, which sucks. But
how old?
Let's not worry about that.
Okay.
But Pete Costanza is, he's our elder statesman, and he'll be happy that I said that. But no, it's a nice mix. But yeah, the player angle is because we're a family. And you got to be careful of hiring for your friends. Okay, that's not, to me, that's not what you do. You hire good people. But if you can hire people you trust, that you've worked with and you believe in, that's what you want to do.
I wanted to ask you, since '92, the Calgary Stampeders have been the winningest football team in the CFL. It's quite a legacy. But the legacy started when Wally came in here, and they went with Flutie, and you got to play with them. And it just went down the line. Quarterbacks, with the exception of one owner that wanted his son to
Yeah,
be
I
a
remember
quarterback.
that, yeah.
And he passed
Yeah.
up on you,
Yeah,
and
the
he
F
passed
troop.
up on Henry. But can you imagine? That would have been a nice continuance had they not had that little break.
Yeah.
And that year I did Stamps TV, and they had a whack of quarterbacks in town.
Yes, they did.
So let's talk about that. What do they look for? What do you guys look for? And why have you guys been so successful being the quarterback factory?
I would probably say it's coaching, especially now that I'm coaching.
Now,
You know,
you know.
no.
And you were a player coach.
There's
too.
a lot of there's a lot of people that are pretty good. You kind of, for me, one of the things I look for is that it factor. Like, can you make plays when it's not drawn up perfectly? You know, like if I tell you how it's going to be and it's just like that, I think everybody should be able to make plays. Professional sports, you guys are very talented. But you look back at Flutes, and Jeff was awesome at it. Henry, one of the best as well. When it wasn't drawn up like it was supposed to, or didn't happen like it was supposed to on the paper, and they're still moving around and finding open receivers, I thought I had that in me as well. Maybe not as athletic as those guys, but that as a coach is what you kind of say, you know what, we're special. And Bo doesn't run a lot, but he makes plays and sees things with his eyes that he shouldn't see. I said, how'd you find that receiver? He says, well, I just saw him pop on there. I said, well, you're supposed to be looking over here. He goes, well, I just had a hunch that it was going to pop over here. And to be honest, that's what the best ones do. So you just keep working hard. I like football junkies, football nuts, guys that you can talk the game with. So hopefully that you're on the same page. And then put good players around them too. We've had some great players around our quarterbacks, obviously, and that makes their job easier.